Alright, what's up, boys? I want to talk about a serious problem we have in our duels community in Hypixel. If you're a Hypixel player or you're someone from the duels community, you already know exactly what I'm talking about and which individuals I'm going to be talking about today. If you're someone from POC community, just buckle up because it's a pretty shitty community to be from. We have the same problems as POC community, doxing, swatting, pedophilia, e-dating, all of that stuff, right? And I've decided to leave this community because it's terrible. It has no benefits to it. Even POC community is better in so many ways because it has some sort of more competitive outcome to it. Well, that was until Lunar removed their fucking anti-cheat, but this video I'm going to be talking about some certain individuals who are infamous in the duels community for preying on underage girls and these monstrous age gaps and people literally asking for nudes, all that stuff. So yeah, enjoy the video, bro. The first person I want to talk about is Whole Lotta Red. I mean, if you're from the duels community, you probably already know him. He's the owner of a really big cheater guild called Blacklist. They're basically sumo cheaters. They use Kilora, Velocity, really dumbass shit just for to go on win streaks of thousands, to get on lifetimes, whatever, right? Another alias for this guy is Red Z. You can see it on AMC. It's the same person, Red Z and Whole Lotta Red. You can see his name is straight Lonely Until I Die, Whole Lotta Red doesn't cheat, etc. And bro, this guy is probably one of the biggest pedos in this community, right? So he's 19 years old, and he's admitted it on multiple occasions. And he's talked to underage girls, 15-year-olds, 14 or 16-year-olds, and we have proof of him asking for sexual images, sexting someone who was underage and under the age of consent. And yeah, I'm gonna be starting with this guy. So the first girl I'm gonna be talking about that he's talked to, and this is the most recent one, in September, is Haley, which is a friend of Brooke, and she was she was in on everything, and she was basically catfishing him. She told him on multiple occasions that she was underage, that she was 15. This is some of the images you can see. Yeah, he asks for Insta, nothing really crazy about that. And then this is where they say they exchange I don't know, they're I don't even know how to describe it. And this is just them talking. It's not really important. And then this is her telling him I'm laying in bed getting ready to sleep, and he's without me. This is them flirting. I'm gonna reiterate that she's 15, he's 19. Nothing really, just on my phone. You should sleep, it's late. This is just a bunch of bull. And yeah, here's where he admits his age. He's 19 years old and she's 15. He's oh, I thought you were older. What, WTF, 16, 17. But the point is already made. This is another guy I'm gonna come back to later. This is just them flirting even more. And oh yeah, should show me you. You already know what I look like, silly. I know, but you should send another one because I sent 2 yesterday and you only sent 1. I don't know if this refers to nudes or if it's just IRL pictures. So I'm not gonna say anything based on that. But yeah, pretty fucked up. So this Haley situation wasn't that bad because she was already in on this. We were working with her. She was basically a catfish. So another girl I want to talk about other than Haley was Destiny. Destiny I have really little proof of because this was a long time ago. You can tell by the name and the profile picture he has on. This was a really long time ago, right? And this is a picture that was going around. And originally we didn't believe it. We thought it was fake, right? Because Whole Lotta Red was in the Shinto guild, and this was way before he even dated Brooke, right? So Destiny is some girl I believe who claimed they were 14, and then here, so this is a picture of a Whole Lotta Red in DMs with a girl who he knows is 14. He is 19. Were you jerking off in the call or no? Maybe yes or no. Yes, right? So prove some sort of sexual activity. And at first he tried to say it was fake, and then he backpedaled. He said that Bloj, which is someone else from Duel's community, if you don't know, was on his Discord account trolling, which makes no sense. I asked Bloj about this, and he said no, there was no such thing, right? So Whole Lotta Red is literally lying, right? Like, if you want, you can go ask Bloj yourself. Like, Bloj never, like, there's no reason Whole Lotta Red would even give his Discord account to Bloj, because Bloj would literally expose him for his DMs with girls. Like, there's no way. Here I have a statement from two people, so Haley and Brooke. So I'm gonna start with Haley. I'm gonna read this out. I was sitting in Duel's lobby one day, and Redzi had come up to me. He gave me his Discord via the pet he had as he was muted in the game. I had no idea who he was or his history, because I had just come back to MC recently. I told him I was 15, he said he was 19, like I showed you guys before in the screenshot, and I didn't mind too much because I was just looking for friends at the time. We talked for a while on Discord, just as friends. We exchanged IRLs, and he flirted with me quite a bit, calling me cute and whatnot. We then added each other on the Snap and began talking there. He was very friendly and quite flirtatious towards me. The screenshots show that what I'm explaining. I had taken pictures of our chat on Snap with another phone to show a friend, not thinking anything of it. That's why I have Snap screenshots. A few days after all that, I was on MC and met another friend, and we hit it off pretty quick. I then told her about Redzi, and I asked if she knew anything about him. I found out about his history, and I was disgusted. I then met Brooke. We confronted him about it, and I ended up blocked by him and haven't spoken to him since. So now I'm going to go on to the final piece of evidence, which is actually Brooke herself. And this is the most concrete, like, basis we have. I met Whole Lotta Red in original Shinto. She's talking about the guild back in 2019, and he seemed like really chill or whatever. So we became friends, and at that point he was aware I was 15, and I was aware he was 19. Then got to be more than friends. And then, like, later on, he asks for nudes, which we have evidence of. And he was really controlling of her. He was incredibly manipulative. I personally remember he would DM me and tell me, like, oh, she's hanging out with this guy, like, dude. And then she says she brought up the age gap to him, and he kept comparing it to his parents' age gap. I don't know if that means his parent was a pedo, or if it's just like they had an age gap and they met later on. And then she realized she was being groomed, and then so she called it off and exposed him. Now I want you guys to, like, look at this bullshit. Like, like, this is recent, by the way. This is like just a few months ago, many months after they broke up. But it's him writing like a whole fucking 3-page like guilt tripping paragraph trying to get her to come back to him. I'm not gonna read through this. Like, if you want, just pause the video and read it. It's just a bunch of like sappy shit, like trying to get her to come back to him. Like, this is pathetic. I'm sorry but like, this is so fucking pathetic. You're a fucking loser for this. I'm just saying. But yeah, this is more proof that he's like attached to her and he can't like let go of her. There's actually like another SSFM. Like, this is shit quality. This was like in April, right? This is from Guilds. It's up to him. This is actually I'm sure this was like a joke, but you know, like, I literally do not care that you're 13, right? Like, it's fucked up. And this is actually Kat's. We're gonna come back to her later because she's actually related to another certain individual I'm gonna be talking about. And this is the same Destiny picture I showed. And then this is Kenny calling him out. Yeah, this is like him admitting he's 19 because Kenny called him a 18-year-old dating 15-year-olds, and then he said he corrected him saying he was 19. This is proof like they were dating also. Whole Lotta Red. This was back in Shinto. This is a Brooke. Her name was Outflies. They matched status and all of that, like cringy shit. I would put his IRL, but I'm pretty sure that would get his channel striked easily. So if you want his IRL, I'll just join Shinto Discord and ask for it. Everyone has it. There's like 20 IRLs of him. My guy literally has like a beard and like a fucking mustache. Like, he's like Archibot. Alright, so James Whole Lotta Red, known pedo. Watch out for his guild. Nothing much else I can really say about it. I'm gonna move on from Whole Lotta Red now because I already talked about him for nearly like 10 minutes, and it's plainly obvious. This isn't even like one of the biggest problems right now. So yeah, he's a pedophile. If you're in his guild, you should leave. And yeah, I'm gonna move on now. Another person I wanted to touch on was actually someone from James' guild, which is kind of ironic, right? From his cheater guild called 7C underscore. I'm pretty sure this kid, if you look on his name MC, right, so he changed his name to ILY Roxana, who's like an e-girl, I'm pretty sure, who's like 14 or 15. This doesn't prove anything. This guy being a joke, because he claims it was a joke, but I just wanted to note that, like, that's kind of an interesting point. Right. And then this kid, right? Like, there's a DM of him asking Angelina, who's a 13-year-old, and this guy's 18, I'm pretty sure. He said, "Yo," like he was asking for nudes, and she said no because she was underage, obviously. And he was like, "Did I ask?" Nah, send. Like, basically trying to harass her into it. I'm not gonna talk too much about this guy because I don't know him. Like, he's like a mute. Like, he barely talks. But like, he's like a ride and die buddy with Whole Lotta Red. They're really good friends apparently. So I wouldn't put it past him that to be like this kind of perpetrator. I advise anyone to like stay away from this kid. Like, I mean, the fact that he's even good friends with Whole Lotta Red already like implicates that, and this SS like it implicates him. This isn't fake either. Like, if you need more proof, like, Shinto Discord. So these two individuals, like, they're like, it's blatantly like, it's like they're blatantly pedos, right? Like 19 and 15 or 18 and 13 or whatever. Next person we're gonna be talking about is Xendek. Xendek is the leader of a guild too called Soulburn. But they like rebranded to, I don't know, like ENRG recently, but they're known as Soulburn like members. He's like really known in Hypixel. He's like level 300 or whatever, and then like he's been here since like 2018. I don't know. It's kind of ironic that I'm talking about him because there's literally like there's like screenshots of him having like talked shit to like someone who was like branded as a pedo too, like back in 2019, and now like the same thing is happening to him and he's like crying about it. So back in Shinto, so this was in February, right? Xendek actually met a female called Katz, which is the same person as iGas that you saw earlier, who Holder Red said he would assault. And she, at the time, I think she was 13, but I know for sure that right now she's 14. She's a 9th grader right now, and then Xendek is 17 years old, so he's a senior right now in high school. He's gonna turn 18 in May, right? So keep all of this in mind. So their age gap is exactly 2 years and 9 months, so basically 3 years, right? And somehow like this has so much controversy about it, like as opposed to the whole Letter S situation, because like people are arguing that it is okay for them to be together because like I'm gonna debunk all of these, but because like A, her parents said it was okay. B, they're not gonna do anything sexual, therefore it's okay, right? And like C, that like soon she'll be old enough, like if they stay together long enough that she'll eventually be like 17, and like 17 and 20 is more acceptable than like 15 and 18 or something, or sorry, and 14 and 17, my bad. But like I'm gonna talk about all of these points, all right? So she met him. At first they tried to lie about it, like they were fake dating. That's what they try to tell everyone, and that's what I'm showing right now here on my screen. Credits to Dom He for getting the SS. And then he was like, just admit, no, I can't. So they tried to lie about this for a long time, right? Like months. So literally showing that like they knew it was wrong, so they hid it. And then people found out like some months later, and so they had to come out in the open about it. Like, and I actually asked him about what his standpoint was, and he told me, here's what I'm gonna tell. Here's what it says, right? I asked him, so you're saying despite her being 14, she's got a similar enough maturity mentality to you? And then he well, previously he said it's pretty obvious that I don't act like a complete adult, and she isn't a child if you've talked to either of us for more than 5 minutes, which is bullshit. Right? She is 14. She acts like a child. I know, right? I've talked to her for more than 5 minutes, and she's literally a child. She plays Minecraft, dude. Like, it's a child. right? Like it's barely a teen. She's just turned 14. I'm pretty sure 13 is like preteen ages, right? So she's a child, and you're almost an adult, right? Like you're 17 years old, dude, and you're gonna turn 18 in May. And then he said, I don't see an issue with it, right? As long as I'm not grooming and abusing because she's younger than me. Also I'm not, because it doesn't feel like there's a huge age gap to us. Of course, it doesn't feel to you that there's an age gap, right? Archibot didn't feel like there was an age gap between him and his underage girl. Neither did Master G-Berry, right? Like this is like a mute point. And as long as I'm not grooming and abusing, you are grooming and abusing her. That's the thing. Maybe you don't realize it, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean something sexual. Right, you're manipulating her. When you're 14, you are so much more gullible. Like, I want you to imagine when you were 14 compared to now when you're 17. Like, you're so, like, personally speaking, I know I was so much more gullible. I would get scammed all the time when I was 14. Like, that's how gullible I was, right? Like, this is completely, like, fucked up, what he's saying right here. And he says it varies from person to person. No, it doesn't. I don't care what you say. I don't care how mature she might be, which, by the way, she's not. She's, like, a kid. I've known her. Right, and then he said, well, of course we are going to have sexual activity whenever it's legal, lol. So this is like, it like makes it seem like he's just waiting, like, you know, like he's claimed her when she's like young and like she's like impressionable, and he's gonna wait until it's legal, and then he's like gonna fuck her. Like that's what it seems like. I'm sure maybe he didn't mean it that way, but like I'm just saying this is a horrible picture for you, okay? And now, like, since this is so like controversial and so many people are like against it, like people are literally saying pedophilia is like a genetic disorder, and that like that XNX doesn't have it because it's like some sort of like, I don't know, like some like disease. I don't get it. So I've talked to some people, and some individuals I'm gonna feature today, including Advisor himself, like the king of exposing the pedos and why I actually made this video, right? So I actually contacted him and I asked him about the age gap between a 17-year-old senior and a 14-year-old freshman, and he asked how close the 17-year-old was turning 18. I said a few months. I asked XNX himself. He said 18 in May. And then he said 14-year-old is barely a teenager. The 17-year-old is nearly an adult. This is totally wrong, Ammo. In teenage years, it's quite quick time in maturing. At 14, most people are immature. Like 14 is barely a teen, right? Like, yeah, it's fucked. And I agree. Like this sums everything up. Like this should be it, right? But people still argue about it. But like this is it. And he said like I think 17 to 15 is acceptable, but 14 is too far. He should know better. And he said that you are so impressionable at 14. He should 100% know better. And that if he engaged any sexual shit with her, that is rapey as fuck. And I agree with her. I'm with him, my bad. Another person I asked, for example, was Ty. Pop community definitely knows him. He's like pretty sure he's from UK, or like he's from EU, and he's like he has like almost 2K subs. And I asked him for his opinion, and I asked him the same scenario, and he said I think he's a nonce, right? Like nonce, I'm pretty sure is like slang for pedo or predator. And I asked him for some reasoning. He just said like, what would be the point in him meeting her if he plans on not doing anything, right? Because like you have to think about this, right? Sexual activity doesn't just mean like intercourse, right? It also means like you can literally kiss, right? And that could be argued as a sexual activity. So technically, XNX can't even kiss cats for a whole, like, until she's like 16, 17 or whatever, right? By the time she's 16, he's gonna be 19. Just saying, like, that's still really fucking weird. But whatever. Plus, why are their parents allowing this, right? Like, the fact that her parents allow this is like holy shit, that is terrible parenting right there. I just want to note that some people are claiming that it's fine because their parents were okay with it, and legally it's in the hand of the parents. That's not true. By that logic, a 12-year-old can be with an 18-year-old as long as the parents approve. No, they don't define any of that. So the fact that her parents said okay doesn't mean it's okay. We saw that with Master G-Berry, and we saw that in Archibot. Like, no. From both a moral standpoint and a legal standpoint for XNX and Cats, their situation, it's wrong, right? Legally, yes, he made the argument that like he can date for He like can date without like any sexual activity. But like that's such bullshit, dude. Like I'm sorry, but like if you're a 16-year-old boy or a 17-year-old boy, like guys get fucking horny. Like it's such a bullshit thing to say. Like no one's gonna go like no one would like date unless you're like asexual, dude. Like no one's gonna date someone like without ever kissing them or doing anything with them for like years. And even it doesn't actually even matter. That actually technically doesn't matter because by the time that she's old enough, it's too late. Like he's grabbed onto her. Like you know what I mean? Like he's grabbed onto her from a young age, and then he's just waiting. He's waiting until it's legal, and then he's gonna fuck her. Like no, that's not okay. It doesn't matter. If it becomes legal later on, like you got a hold of her before it was legal, right? So someone actually made a really good argument about this when I asked them. They said, so knowing people, I don't think that when he turns 18 and she turns 15 that they will refrain from doing anything sexual because that's just how people are. But say in some make-believe world that they started dating before one of them turned 18 plus, and say that for those whole 3 years or 1 year according to Michigan that they did not do anything at all, like the 1% which Xanek claims he is from. There's nothing wrong with it because nothing happened, but that's extremely unlikely, right? And that's true. So he's not going to be breaking the law, right? If he waits until she's like old enough, yes, technically like he can't be pursued by the law, right? Because legally, like he's done sexual activity with her at the right age. He's waited until she's 17. But from a moral standpoint, this is so fucked up because first of all, like dating as a whole, like completely put aside sexual activity. Let's say they never have sex, right? She's 14. She's a child. Her experiences are limited by 3 years, which is like almost more than a fourth of her life. I'm pretty sure, or almost a fourth of her life. That's a huge amount of experience, right? And he's like almost 18. He's gonna go to university next year, and she's still gonna be in high school, right? She's a freshman. That's a case, bro. Like I don't care what anyone says. Pedophilia is not a genetic disorder. It's not. It's just not acceptable. It's 3 years of age isn't acceptable. This shouldn't be controversial. This shouldn't be argued. What he's doing is wrong. He needs to break up with her like right now, right? Like he needs to get the fuck out of this. So I've talked about the 3 like pedos that I know of, but Hypixel, dude, Hypixel duels community, not even duels, like Hypixel is filled with people like this. Like I can go like into dozens, maybe even hundreds of people who are like this. And there's nothing we can do about it. Like absolutely nothing. So, and it's disappointing because it was, yes, there were pedos and like cases in 2019, but it wasn't as normalized. Now like people make it seem like it's cool if you e-date and you're like a pedo or whatever. It's like a trend now in Hypixel duels. Like that's so fucked up. And that's why I'm gonna be leaving the community. If you don't know already, if you want more information about like things Whole Letter Red has done, XNEC has done, like you can join the Shinto Discord. It's in the description. You're gonna get like way more information there. If you need proof that anything's correct, whatever, Trendy would love to help you, I'm sure. But yeah. And for you guys who are still hanging around these individuals, I don't care if it's Blacklist members, Soulburn members, whatever. You know who you are, and I know who you are. I know exactly which one of you are talking to them. I know all, bro. But my advice to you is to get out. Like get out, bro. Because the like yeah, sure, you might not be affected, quote unquote, but like you even accepting it, being friends with them, right? Like all of that, not criticizing them for that or crucifying them for this, is adding to normalization of this community. This community is getting worse because of you, because you're not doing something about it. That being said, I don't want any harassment, any doxing or whatever like retarded shit to happen. Like don't go after any of these people like that. That's because that solves nothing. That's just adding fuel to the fire. Don't do that. But if you are spending your time with someone like this and you're friends with them, once again, you know who you are, then bro, you need to stop. Like that's like my final request. Just get out, dude. Well, while you still can.